Hi, everybody. Okay, so we're going to do something a little bit different this week. Instead of me giving you guys a bunch of websites and readings and questions, I just made a whole thing for you, and then I made a video of me going over the thing that I made for you, and I posted the video that I made for you going over the Google Slides presentation in the Google Slides presentation. So basically what's going to be happening is you're going to watch a video of me talking about the Google Slides presentation while I'm on the Google Slides presentation on my computer, and I'm talking about it while you go over it on your computer with the video that I put on there. It's just there's going to be a lot of virtual dimensions going on. I'm not worried. I think it'll be an adventure. Anyway, okay. So last week we were talking about the presidents and what has been going on with how our nation really began to form through policy. So now we've been around for a little while. It's the 1800s, and we're really starting to boost ourselves economy-wise. So what we're going to be doing this week is we're going to look at the North and the South and how they kind of worked together, but then also were very independent and successful separately, okay? So your assignment this week is I have 20 terms for you listed in the Google Slides presentation, and you guys are going to make a Venn diagram and place the terms in the correct place in your Venn diagram. Does everybody know what a Venn diagram is? Well, if you don't, I made some examples. So I have one for you on the Google Slides presentation, and then I have one for you right here. So in honor of looking out my window all day, I made a Venn diagram of critters and beasts, okay, and outside things. So these are my terms that I need to place here. So things that are just critters would go in the critters circle. Things that are beasts would go in the beast circle. And things that maybe could be both will go in the middle, okay? So this is the example, okay? And now my final product, okay, is gonna look like this, all right? So here are my critters: squirrels, Tweety birds; beasts, big scary dog, hawks, okay? Possums are kind of both. Jimmy is more of a critter, but he's a beast lately because he needs a haircut. And I have a title, okay? So this is a Venn diagram. This is what you guys are gonna make, all right? So here we go. I am gonna take you through this presentation, so I'm just gonna make me smaller. Ooh, bye. But then here's a different thing that we don't need, and here is this. Okay, great. I hope you can see this. I don't know. I'm about to be talking for like 20 minutes, and if this doesn't work, well, I'll just do it all over again. Okay. So this is where we're looking. This is what you can see. This is what I can see. I can't like make it like half and half full on my screen. I tried. Just bear with me. Okay, so antebellum America. Now, first let me tell you, the word antebellum, okay, ante means before, bellum means war, so it's before war America, so before the Civil War. So we're going to see a lot of development, and we're going to see sectionalism. And sectionalism is when we have areas that people are very devoted to, okay? So we have our northerners, they're part of the north. We have the southerners, they're part of the south. And then there's like the west, okay? And that is sectionalism, okay? And our years are 1800 to 1860. So you can, watch me explain this, or you can just look at my mouse, if you can see my mouse, okay? Because I'm going to be going over this with you, okay? So first, these are our questions to consider, okay? So how did the North and the South depend on each other? Who do you think had a more productive economic system? And by the time we get to 1860, the North and the South are going to fight a war against each other. It's gonna be brother versus brother, fighting, killing. It's gonna be horrible. And so, we came together as colonists to form this new country, to be free. And by the time we get to 1860, we're fighting a war against each other. So in the time between the American Revolution up to 1860, American Revolution 1770s, right? How did our country become so divided? And that's what we're going to be looking at this week and up to the next couple weeks until we get into May 15th, okay? All right, so for development, like I said, during the years 1800 to 1860, the United States experienced like a crazy rapid increase in production. because we have all these new inventions, which are super awesome, and we have these new inventions being implemented into society. Society is going to start to use these inventions, and that's also going to shift our culture a little bit, okay? So that's how our development's going to work. So here's our sectionalism map, okay? So sectionalism is devotion to a certain area. Here's the United States, so we're going to be focusing on the North and the South. We're going to focus on the West next week, okay? So just the North and the South. Here's our visual. So we're going to look at what was going on up here and what was going on down here, okay? So here's our assignment, okay? You're going to make a Venn diagram to compare the North and the South. I have provided you with 20 terms. They're on the next couple slides. You're going to need to place them correctly in your Venn diagrams. Some of the terms are obvious. They're in bold. They're right there, easy to place. And some you're going to have to look for. It's a little bit of a scavenger hunt, okay? All you're going to need to complete this assignment is this presentation, okay? The assignment is worth 10 points, and then there's a final question at the very end, and that question is worth 5 points. So you have 15 points total for this week, okay? Just like last week. So here's another example of Venn diagram. You can look at that at your own time, but this is what I do in my spare time is I make Venn diagrams. They're kind of fun. Okay. So first thing I'd like you to do is make a Venn diagram, and you want it to kind of look like this, north and south. Here is a better example. So you're going to make sure you want to have your name. You want to make sure you have room for your terms. And then, I can't move. Okay, whatever. And then you want to, you want to have an example to your question down there. Okay, so you want to leave room. Okay, you can see all this on your presentation, so that's why I'm just kind of flying through it. Okay, so our directions. So there are 20 terms, and I've arranged them into 3 topics, 3 categories. So we have inventions, we have economy, and we have culture. Okay, so as you go through the presentation, you're going to want to place the terms in the correct area on your chart. And the way you're going to want to do this is, if you think it was mostly used in the north, put it in the north bubble. If you think it was mostly in the south, put it in the south bubble. And if you think it was used by both pretty much about the same, you're going to put it in the middle bubble. And hopefully the presentation is going to make it pretty obvious for you. Okay? So my recommendation is that you write down these terms yourself, because I'm not going to go in order of the terms, okay? This presentation is just kind of like, we're going to go through development and inventions and production. We're going to go all over the place. The terms are very scattered. They're very out of order. So I recommend you write them down somewhere so you can check them off as you place them in your Venn diagram, because you're not going to write a term more than once, okay? So here are our terms. So we have inventions, which I put in blue because we know I like colors, okay? So our inventions, we have the power loom, the cotton gin, the steam engine, the telegraph, the railroad, interchangeable parts, canals, and steamboats, okay? So where do you think they belong? We have the economy, so how we make money. We have textile factories, cotton production, free labor, aka slavery, meaning working but not getting paid, and you're not volunteering, okay? Agriculture, cash crops, trade, paid labor, so you're working and you're getting paid, okay? And 100% profit for business owners. These are all terms, okay? And then finally, culture, okay? So kind of like what society looks like. So immigration, that's going to shift culture. Rise of the middle class, we're going to see a shift from going from like really wealthy to really poor to having like a middle class all of a sudden. How about that? But we'll see if it's in some places more than others. Cities and urbanization, and plantations, okay? So where do we think they belong? You might even be able to put some of these terms in the correct place without my help, but here we go. Okay, so here are our assignments, okay? Again, in case you didn't get the first time. So here we go. Let's talk about the North and South. Here's a picture. Use the picture to help you with the term textile factories and cotton production, so you can do that on your own time. And here is development for inventions. This is a general overview. I'm not going to give you any answers, but I want to go over some of these inventions with you. This is one of the reasons why I'm making this video. This is one of my favorite things we talk about all year, which is why I'm so sad I can't be with you to talk to you about it, because things are just going to explode production-wise. It's going to be awesome, okay? So first, all right, we have transportation. So we have the steam engine, which is going to make steamboats, steamships, And trains, we're going to have steam trains. Have you ever gone down to Durango and done a little choo-choo steam train? Oh, it's so cute. Except it like started a fire, but that's okay. Railroads, okay, that's a new mode of transportation, right? Awesome. And then canals, which are man-made rivers. So what's the easiest way to carry the most stuff at once? Water, by boat. Oh, there's no rivers around? Oh no, let's make one. So we're gonna have canals, okay? Communications, so we're gonna have the telegraph. I'll have a little activity for you, a little extra credit opportunity in a minute. And use of transportation advances. It's way faster to get a message across via railroad than it is on horseback, right? So these new transportation methods are gonna help us communicate faster as well. We're also gonna have production. So we have our factory system. That's going to be increased. The power loom, the spinning jenny, steam power. So instead of everybody, like people just like working on these machines manually, we're going to have steam power. We're going to have these new inventions to help these things go faster. We're going to have interchangeable parts, which is both a product and a means of production. And then we have the cotton gin, which is going to make cotton production just go 10 times faster than it did before. Okay, transportation, the north and the south. So in the north, we have the canals connecting the Great Lakes to the Atlantic Ocean. The Erie Canal, major success. I've devoted an entire slide to it. You'll see, stay tuned. Most railroads are going to be in the north. The north is really going to take advantage of railroads. By 1850, we're going to have 30,000 miles of railroad track laid. It's ridiculous in 50 years. It's like nuts, okay? And canals and railroads allowed northern business to go, getting resources to the factories, getting the finished goods from the factories to wherever it is they're going to be sold. So just movement, production, we're going places. It's awesome. The South is going to be dependent on the steamboat using the Mississippi River, okay, and all of these little channels that they have, okay. The major ports are New Orleans and Charleston. Railroads did exist, but not as much as in the North. Way more existed in the North, okay. Special attention, real quick, news flash, Erie Canal, kind of a big deal. Now, the Erie Canal, real quick, let me just tell you, people were like, why would you invest in something like this? Why would you do that? It turned out to be one of the best investment opportunities in U.S. history. So, you know, just a little moral here, you know, if you believe in something and you really, truly think it's going to work, you know, go for it. Think of the Erie Canal, all right? Here's a slide in honor of that, so you can have fun with the Erie Canal later. Okay, so here is a map of the railroads. So you can see there's way more in the north than the south. So I think by now we've been able to place that term, hopefully. Okay, the telegraph. So Samuel Morse is our inventor. He created it in 1844, okay? Long distance communication, big time. So we're gonna go from carrier pigeons and like letters to being able to transmit messages within moments, okay? So electric signals are used with Morse code, translated message from station to station. So the more stations that are set up, so if we have one station in New York and one station in like Baltimore, we can send messages between New York and Baltimore. If your town doesn't have a telegraph station, you're not gonna get any telegraph messages. So we're gonna be building these like, whoa, okay? So both the North and the South is going to be utilizing the telegraph, okay? So Morse code, the way it worked is, you know, you'd have a little message and each letter and number was given a code. So here's how it works, right? So the little dots are short and the dashes are long. So A would be like boop, boop, and B would be like boop, 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 right? And so that's how you'd know like what you're spelling, okay? On the next slide, I've given you a little extra credit opportunity. If you would like to decode this yourself, please do this yourself. Do not, you know, have someone else do it for you because that's super lame and like, where's the fun in that? And like, what else are you doing right now? Okay, so let's talk about production in the North. Industry, boom. Factory system, paid labor. People are going to start to get jobs, all right? Textile factories are going to be the number one, as you could see on the previous picture. And remember, textiles, cloth products made from cotton, okay? The power loom makes this way faster. We're going to use them in factories. It's going to be awesome. And interchangeable parts. All right, let me talk to you about interchangeable parts real quick. So basically, If something in the machine breaks, you don't have to replace the entire machine. You just replace that single part, okay? So from here on out, production is going to go so much faster because we're going to make our machines standardized so that if one machine, let's say in Chicago, breaks down, oh, don't worry, we got that part in a factory next door. Don't worry, you can go get that part and just fix it really quick. So production is not going to slow down, okay? And then interchangeable parts themselves were also a product to be produced. So we're going to make money producing interchangeable parts, and we're going to be able to use the interchangeable parts to produce things really fast. So look at that, okay? Rapid increase, much faster. Okay, and then for the South, all right, everything's going to be cotton, which is a type of cash crop. That's right, okay? So big time cash crop. So the cotton gin is this new machine. It's invented by Eli Whitney, and basically what you did is you like put this, pick the cotton, and cotton has like all these seeds in it, all right? But you put the cotton in the thing, and then someone would crank the wheel because this thing was like really big, right? And you'd crank this wheel, and then the cotton would come out on one end and the seeds would come out on another end. So now you have seeds to plant more cotton and fresh cotton that you can immediately turn into thread, because it's really hard to turn cotton into thread when there's seeds in it. So basically, before the cotton gin, it would take one slave 10 hours to make 1 pound of cotton, okay? After the cotton gin, 2 or 3 slaves could produce 50 pounds in one day. That is a ridiculous increase in cotton production. I want to ask you all a question. I want you to think about this real quick. So do you think the cotton gin made the life of slaves easier or better? Now, if we were in class together, we'd be able to talk about this. And I'm sad we're not together, because this is a really, really important point in history, because this is when slavery is going to be at its most gruesome. Now, one would think, oh, they have this new invention to help them, with the cotton. Well, actually, the cotton gin is going to create an extremely high demand for cotton production, and therefore make slaves much more of a valuable commodity. And so slaves are going to be put under much more strict command. They're going to be living under close quarters. The slave trade is going to increase. Punishments for slaves running away or not doing something that would make the cotton production slow down. We're going to see severe, just horrific punishments. So this is when slavery is really going to see its worst time. And when we get closer to 1860, the attention towards how horrible slavery is, that's going to become, it's going to be noticed by many people, more so than before. So we'll be talking more about that later, okay? So the cotton gin is going to create an increase in cotton production, and a lot of this is going to be done on plantations. And plantations were like giant plots of land where they were completely self-sufficient. Everything you needed was on a plantation. You did not need to go into town for anything. You had your livestock for your milk and milk and meat and eggs and fur and whatever you needed. You had the cotton, so you could make your own cloth. You could do your own thing. So really, people who owned plantations, they only left to like go to parties or go buy fancier things, but they were self-sufficient. There was really no reason to leave a plantation. You had everything right there. It was like a little mini town, okay? All right, so economy in the North, our textiles factory, they're going to use cotton grown in the South to produce those cloth goods, okay? Urbanization is when people are going to be moving to cities, because that's where the jobs are. That's where factories are, okay? We're also going to see a major increase in immigration from Europe, okay? Because we hear, oh, there's jobs in America. Oh, if you go to America, you can get a job right off the ship, blah, 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 right? So immigration is going to increase, and they're going to go where the jobs are, which is in the North. And then we see the rise of the middle class, okay? And so, like, real quick, let me just explain to you, because this is just amazing, all right? How many of you would consider to be part of the middle class? I would. Hi, I'm part of the middle class. Most of us are, okay? It's the largest one. Now, before factory work and the ability to do these jobs without skill, we really had a major separation between rich and poor. At the beginning of the year, we talked about feudalism, if you remember what that is, where we have like our elites, like kings and queens and, lords of land, and then like the peasants who would work the land and, for whatever, I digress. But that system kind of remained. We still saw a huge division between rich and poor, okay? But when factory work came about, you no longer needed to have a real skill to make money. So our real skilled labor, like during colonization, we had our candle makers, remember, like our cobblers, our shoemakers, our blacksmiths. Okay, this is skilled labor. It's a trade that you grow up in that trade. You learn how to do that trade. You either become an apprentice or you grow up in that family, and that's what you do. And the people who grew up in that family, they were lucky to learn those trades because then they were able to have a steady means throughout the economy. But now people who maybe didn't grow up in any trade industry, now they have an opportunity to just go get a job. You don't need skill. You don't even know how to speak English. All you got to do is like move this from here or there, right? Power loom, go like, hey, power loom, right? Or the spinning jetty, you got to have your foot on the pedal and then you're like winding something all day. You don't need skills to do that. You don't need to know how to speak English to do that. So that's why we still have immigration. It's so easy, in fact, a child could do it. Yeah, child labor. That's when that happens. How about that? Okay. So rise in the middle class. Fascinating stuff. Oh gosh, I wish we could be together to talk about it. So much fun. Okay, so economy in the South. Agriculture is our farming-based economy. You know this, we've talked about it. Slavery is free labor, okay? It's essential for this rapid increase in cotton demand. Is it essential? Is it? I don't know. Wealth increase. Now here's the thing. If you have slaves doing all the work, you don't have to pay them. So guess what? You get 100% profit. So 100% profit of our plantation owners, it's going to go into their pocket. They don't have to pay their workers, and everything they spend money on is what they choose, which is very different than in the North, because in the North, our business owners, they're paying their workers, right? Okay. So plantations, we talked about that in the last slide. There are very few large cities in the South. And our class culture in the South, in the North, we talked about we have the rise of the middle class. In the South, we're still going to see a major division between rich and poor. We're going to have our super wealthy, ridiculously dripping in wealth plantation owners and our lower class farmers. And that's about it. So very little middle class in the South, okay? They had class, don't get me wrong. They had slavery, but they didn't have a middle class. Okay, so here's how the North and the South work together. The South produced the cotton at a rapid pace thanks to the cotton gin. The North could turn the cotton into textiles at a rapid pace thanks to the power loom, and they would trade with each other, okay? The North would trade the South finished goods, the South would get textiles from them, and then they would both trade with Europe, okay? So where does trade belong? I don't know. Okay, so sectionalism. Here's how it really ties together, okay? So both the northern and the southern region were focused on what they needed to become most successful. The North, their economy was based on manufacturing and textiles to trade with Europe. And so more production means more trade, which means more wealth. The South relied on slaves to raise crops for the economy, and they're trading cotton as well. So more slaves, more cotton to trade, more wealth, okay? So this is our final question. So in terms of having the most successful economy, who was more reliant on who and why? Okay, so that's your final question. And I really want to just go back to this really quickly. I want you to realize that this is a time in American history where we are making a ridiculous amount of money in a ridiculous amount of time, okay? And remember, Biggie Smalls, more money, more problems, okay? So we're going to see some of these problems come about, okay? More business, more money, more profit, more production, more. Greed, right? How is this going to play out in our country, okay? So look for that in the next couple weeks when we look at that essential question. How could our country that was once so united for a revolution become so divided? No money, more problems, okay? So here's your final question. I would like to see that on your chart. So you can draw a chart just like I did, or you can make one using inspiration maps or Notability, or however you want to make your chart is fine, as long as I can read it. So here's your rubric, okay? So make sure everything's in the correct place. I can read it. If you color code your terms, that is nice too, because you know I like color, just saying, okay? So this is the example I gave you at the beginning. Hopefully this makes sense. I know this was like super quick, but you have this to look back. You can pause me, you can rewind me, you can not listen to me at all. It depends, I don't know. I miss you guys. I wish we could be together to learn this stuff, because this is really when America starts to really get going. This is like the fun stuff. So I hope you enjoy it. I hope you find some entertainment, and I can't wait to see you guys on Zoom, and do your best. I'm here for you if you need any questions. I miss you. I really do. I'm really sad we can't be together, especially for this unit. So make me proud. Show me you learned something, and I'll talk to you soon. All right? Bye.